Our season started on the 1st of May with last year's grand final replay between Grassy and North, which saw North turn the tables in an emotional game to see them win by 20 points. The Hendricks brothers, Nathan and Mitch, were able to get plenty of the ball, while Aaron Wardlaw and Dwayne Baldock got amongst the goals, kicking 4 each. Justin Summers and Ben Crowe were also having a good game to see them both kick 2 goals, along with Richard Sutton and Robbie Smith. Our second game of the season saw Curry travel to Grassy and start their season with a nice win over Grassy by 65 points. Jason Hutchins was finding himself at home on the big ground to see him kick 7 goals for the game. Amongst those goals were also plenty of points, and this nice run up the ground was one of them. His teammates Max Sainsbury and Doug Cox were also getting plenty of the ball to see them both kick 4 for the game, and they could have kicked more if they hadn't missed this sitter. Marty Monson was working hard for Grassy, along with Robbie Smith and Tommy Harris, doing a good job in defence. Some new players were still learning how to dispose of the ball legally, while Matthew McKenzie came out of retirement to help Curry out and showed he was a bit rusty at times, but still was sneaky round goal. Our round 3 game was the first game at Curry for the season and saw North absolutely thrash Curry by 188 points. Baldy had a day out in front of goal, kicking 15 for the game. Jeremy Summers was dominating round the centre, as was Justin, who was starring all round the ground, to see him also kick 4 goals for the game, along with Lance Anderson. Lance could have also kicked more, but he missed a few sitters as well. Young junior Bo Lee Keys was on the receiving end of this bump by Lance, while Tom Graham, Joel Williams and Doug Cox were battling hard for Curry. Scott Clark came out of a 30-year retirement to help Curry get a side on the ground, and needed some extra care and attention at the end of each quarter to keep him going. Stacey Martin also found some boots, but was only able to last for a quarter before his trusted hammy gave way again, while Emmanuel Pedrosa's football season finished after he broke his leg, with Tim Hennessy also being stretchered off after doing his knee. Grassy finally got a win on the board in round 4 when they beat North by 117 points. David Vellacoop was on fire up forward, kicking 7, but not to be outdone, Richard Sutton was also having a good game up forward and kicked 7 as well. Nathan Hendricks was in the thick of things again, along with his younger brother Mitch, who also kicked 4 goals. Justin Summers battled hard all game, both up forward and down back. When he was in the back line, he was stopping the opposition from getting goals, and whenever he moved forward he was able to get amongst the goals to see him kick 3 for the game. Grassy's goal sneak Justin Sharman surprised us all to also kick 3 goals, along with Dale Reid and Aaron Wardlaw. Robbie Sharman got his fingers touched up by North's new Irish recruit Andrew McDonald, while Chase Dutchy Poland showed us some of his soccer skills to kick this nice goal. Curry were not able to produce the form they had when they played Grassy the first time, and in round 5 went down to Grassy by 50 points. Curry had some new international players, with Wayne Cam showing some good form. Tristan Forrest was having a great game and topped it off with 3 goals, along with Joel Williams, who was also playing well and did a good job here to get his boot to ball. David Vellacoop got amongst the goals again, kicking 4, as did the nifty and quick Bo Lee Keys. Robbie Sharman took a nice mark in front of goal and played on for a sure goal, only to see it miss. Brodie Vlagsma was playing a great game in defence, while Max Sainsbury was dangerous all round the ground. Nick Lantieri was starting to find some form, while Marty Monson was playing his usual strong game. Grassy's old stalwart Duncan Rhodes got a couple of goals, as did Jason Hutchins, Aaron Wardlaw and Adrian Wachens, with Adrian getting this freak goal that no one got their hands to. Dutchy tried once again to repeat what he did last week, only this time it was a bit windy. Round 6 saw Curry field a full side for the first time this season and succeeded to beat North by 31 points, which gave all three teams 2 wins each. Bo Lee Keys was showing that he could match it in the seniors and finished the day with 5 goals. Michael Francis chipped in with 4 goals, while Curry's old stalwart Duncan Clemens, who had been enticed out of retirement, was at his Keating medal best. Doug Cox was busy all round the ground, as was James Law Davis, with Thomas Graham also having a good game. Joel Williams was also playing well, along with Justin Summers, which saw him kick 3 for the game. Lance Anderson also kicked 3, but after kicking this goal, lost the plot a bit and gave Tom Graham a bit of a slap around the face to see him get reported and suspended for a game. Juan Pablo Pizarro showed that he needed a bit more handball practice, as did Andrew Whipple. Round 7 saw North travel to Grassy again, but this time Grassy were able to win at home by 84 points. Max Summers swapped his whites for the maroon and gold to help North get a side on the ground, as they were a bit short on numbers. Robbie Smith was having a great game at home, and his strong work round the ground saw him kick 6 goals. Tristan Forrest was also having a good game, which saw him also get amongst the goals, kicking 6 as well, which included this big one which he kicked from close to the centre, and this one from some fancy footwork by teammate Dutchy. Aaron Wardlaw was marking well to see him chip in with 3 goals, while Justin Summers and Richard Sutton both kicked 2. James Law Davis was doing his best to keep North in the game, as was Andrew Whipple and Jeremy Summers. Curry travelled to Grassy for our round 8 game, and even though they were a bit short on numbers, played well, but still went down by 84 points. Craig Constable ran with the umpires after doing the juniors to get a bit of a feel for what it was like. Bo Lee Keys was on fire up forward, kicking 7 for Curry, and if he had have kicked straight, he could have had close to 12. Duncan Rhodes got moved to the forward line, which saw him kick a lazy 5, while Tristan Forrest was playing well all round the ground again, and saw him add another 4 goals to his tally. Marty Monson was doing a great job, along with Freddie Tatawaka, who was at his running best. Doug Cox and Joel Williams were working hard all game, while Daniel Hendricks was playing his usual best at both ends of the ground, which saw him end up with 3 goals for the game, along with Roy Bergen, and much to our surprise, Tom Harris, who normally plays full back, also kicked 3. Robbie Smith was getting plenty of the ball, but his feet had trouble keeping up with his brain here. Juan Pablo was really getting into the game, but fired up for some reason when Tommy Harris offered him a hand up. In our round 9 game, Curry really struggled to get a side on the ground. They were able to start with 12, but by quarter time they had lost Tim Hennessy in the first minute. Stacey's hamstring pulled him up again, and a hamstring also slowed Joel Williams right up. To make things worse, they also lost Joe Jackson with an ankle injury, which brought them down to 8 players, which forced them to forfeit the game at quarter time. Both teams decided to keep playing, but with reduced numbers. Andy Summers got amongst the goals, kicking 5, with Jai Summers, Patrick Johnson, Duncan Clemens and Bo Lee Keys all kicking 3. Max Hogarth was a newcomer to the game and really enjoyed it, with other good players on the day being Justin Summers and Doug Cox. There were no Keating medal votes given for this game. Grassy were able to keep their winning run going in round 10 by beating North by 21 points. Bailey Rainbow, who was only a junior, played exceptionally well to see him kick 7 goals for the game. Tristan Forrest was getting plenty of the ball again to see him kick another 5, while Robbie Smith kicked 4 and Aaron Wardlaw 3. Ben Collins was also getting plenty of the ball. He also kicked 2 goals, as did James Law-Davis. Kieran Barnes showed us some of the form that we know he can play, while Case Dutchy Poland was really getting the hang of the game. Caden Barnes, who was playing his first game for the season, showed that his time in Tassie playing with Bernie has really helped his game. Taylor Cook was getting a bit of the ball, but his disposal in this instance let him down to give Grassy an easy goal. Our round 11 game between Curry and Grassy was a close affair, with Curry outscoring Grassy in the second half, but still just lost to Grassy by only 8 points. Jason Hutchins was at his running best and kicked 5 goals for the game. David Vellacoop also played well to kick 4, while Tristan Forrest kept up his standard of play round the ground to also see him kick 3 goals, which included this freakish goal that no one got an arm or a leg to. Aaron Wardlaw, who saw one of his points changed to a goal after a quick word from the central umpire, saw him also kick 3. Max Sainsbury was getting plenty of the action, as was Doug Cox, while Caden Barnes was playing well again, along with Nick Lantieri. Stacey Martin was not having much luck with his hamstring, as it went again, but Luke Morris had a bit of luck to hang on to this mark. Curry and North did battle again in round 12, and this time Curry got the better of North by 30 points. Jason Hutchins was in the thick of things again round goal to see him kick 7. Doug Cox was at his flashy best, while Max Sainsbury was also doing a great job round the centre, while Joe Jackson was playing a solid game in the back line for Curry. Lance Anderson kicked 3 goals, but there must be something between him and Tom, as they once again had a bit of a push and shove session. Justin Summers battled hard all game, and along with Ben Crowe, James Law-Davis and John Bowden stopped North losing by more than what they could have. Grassy defeated a depleted North side comfortably by 61 points in round 13 at Grassy, on a ground that was a bit soft underfoot. Boyd Horde did the president's thing and pulled on the boots to make sure North had a side for the day, while others were making sure they wouldn't get wet feet. Aaron Wardlaw played well up forward to see him kick 3 goals, but this attempt at a handball here ended up being judged a throw. Robbie Smith was playing extremely well in the conditions, along with Tristan Forrest, who also kicked 2 goals. It doesn't matter what the conditions are like, Justin Summers just keeps on giving 100%, and this game was no exception. Joe Hainsworth was playing well in defence for North, as was Ben Crowe and Thomas Shaw. David Vellacoop was able to kick a couple of goals, along with Duncan Rhodes and young junior Julian Beckett. Cody Cook, who was also playing well, but he will have to do his shoelaces up a bit tighter in future to help keep his boots on. Grassy were able to keep their winning run intact in their last roster game of the season, to see them beat Curry in round 14 by 19 points. Once again, Jason Hutchins was playing a strong game, to see him kick another 7 goals for the game. Aaron Wardlaw was leading and marking well to see him kick 6, while Jack Ude was finding some form and was running and playing well, which saw him kick 4, with him getting reported after this incident with Daniel Hendricks, but did not get suspended after it was taken to the tribunal. Duncan Clemens showed again what a good player he is, while Doug Cox was playing another good game. Tristan Forrest was everywhere again, as was Robbie Smith, which saw both of them kick 2 goals, along with Roy Bergen and Caden Barnes. Jordan Platt is another player who is really starting to get the hang of the game, while Marty Monson was lucky to get his boot to ball in this tackle. Our last roster game of the season saw North and Curry do battle to see how they would shape up before the semi-final. North were missing a few players due to injury, and it showed as Curry whopped North by 131 points. Jason Hutchins was out to get the King Island Football Association's leading goal kicker award, which he got in the second quarter as part of his 7-goal haul for the game. Jack was relieved that he got off his striking charge last week and was out to prove that he was fit and ready to play finals. He got a fair bit of the ball, which saw him also kick 7 goals. Justin Summers was once again battling hard for North. With no Jeremy, Justin did a fair bit in the ruck as well as in the back line, where things at times were just not going right for him. His consistent running saw him also kick 2 goals. Andy Summers came home to get his games in and played another good game, while Ben Crowe was running around everywhere getting a fair bit of the ball to see him kick 2 goals as well. Patrick Johnson was another player who was playing well, which also saw him kick 2 goals, while Lance will have to look into how he tackles, as with this hit on Duncan Clemens cost him a goal, and then this one on Jack Ude also cost him a goal. William Brown seems to be enjoying the game, but is another international player who needs to have some handball practice.